You're listening to Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official podcast of Lingerie Fighting Championships. And now, here's your host, Michael Larkin.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships podcast. My name is Mike Larkin, and joining me today, you saw her ring announce at the last LFC 45 Booty Camp 6, doing her thing as only as she can do it, the one, the only Miss Lilipher. It's a pleasure to have you on the show, Lilipher. How are you?
Good. How about you?
I cannot complain. First and foremost, LFC 45 Booty Camp 6 came off with such a success. We saw everybody exuding, accentuating that internal and external beauty, kicking ass, taking names, and looking badass, dare I say, and some great Halloween costumes. And you did your thing as the ring announcer, dressing as the dominatrix that you are. Talk about the event, and you look fantastic.
Oh, thank you. I don't know if you can see, I'm tinted red right now because I painted myself as a devil and was doing like titty shots in the Arts District for a calendar. So I had like a hint of red all over me. But yeah, I enjoyed the LFC quite a lot. And extremely hot, extremely powerful. And weirdly, I was so impressed by the announcer who was in the ring on the floor for every match. Her stamina to keep up with it all, very impressive. Terry, I believe her name was.
Terry Feisty.
Yeah, she was powerhouse. I was like, I would not want to fight her. But no, it was incredible. I loved it. I love wrestling. I have like smaller version of wrestling at my events, not nearly anything hardcore. We do hot girl wrestling in like slime or mud or blood or whatever liquid I'm feeling and getting in mass amounts and weirding out the cashier by buying. So I love any sort of wrestling, especially if it's female.
I've always said that first and foremost, whether you're wrestling in like mud, foam, jello, however you want to identify it, I've always enjoyed that just because of the fact I think it adds a nice little layer and it adds your own little flavor to the art form that is professional wrestling. I think if you add that real deal sex appeal and you add that element of just overall difference and uniqueness and dare I say thinking outside the box, if you have that raw intensity and authenticity, it really gets to show people looking at different things like from different perspectives and the uniqueness of it, and adds another little flavor, and it really does do the upswing if you do it in many different liquids, so to speak.
And it can get pretty intense with the different liquids. We did whipped cream clown girl wrestling, and that was I was fearing for my life. It felt like being like on ice skates as a giraffe. It was so slippery. We were like banging into each other. It was very fun. Very smelly. I don't think I'll ever do whipped cream again. Yeah, I think it like kind of just permanently lives in my nose now. But yeah. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed. We had the LFC girls out. Smoke Show Jenkins, the Tiffany the Smoke Show.
Tiffany.
She came out and Shani Crossfire, and they did a match, and it was incredible. And they did it in our Jello. And then I saw some man from the Freak O Rama crowd grab a hunk of that Jello and eat it, which I would not recommend because that was not like store-bought Jello. That was like mass products on Amazon that a lot of women were wrestling in from the Double Down Saloon. But I don't blame him because it was hot. I was hungry after that match too. I probably would have eaten Tiffany, not the Jello, but.
Round two underway. Baxter immediately rushing forward.
Just the size difference. Just throwing her up on top of the turnbuckle. Then punch from the side. Just work in the midsection.
Kovachenko catches the punch. Look at this. Like
a
an
little
armbar on the
standing
top
armbar.
rope. Oh, my goodness. And Baxter just walking her across the ring. Hits the ground. The scissor choke.
On the tap.
That's
is
one of the best
incredible.
submissions we've ever seen in Lingerie Fighting Championships. Unbelievable. Look at that. Crossfire again just to the back from the standing position. Looking to
jumps
attack
to the back.
Yes. It slips off.
Falls off.
Couldn't quite hold the hooks in place.
Loco get back on top.
Crossfire once again scrambling to her knees. Slips around to the back.
Yeah, she's doing a great job of maintaining that back. A little too high. Slipped off.
I like
close.
the aggression there.
Yeah.
A little high. Just like that.
Did a good job getting on back.
Look at as hooks are in. Arm is under the neck, and that's going to be the tap.
There it is.
Just like that.
Wow.
Unbelievable
Incredible
work from Channy Crossfire.
First of all, I look at it from a stance like this. You have good taste when it comes to the incredible Tiffany Conspiracy Smoke Show Baxter, so that I will definitely give you kudos on. But number two, I did see the photos. Tiffany talked about that on our last podcast. I mean, looking at what you guys do, I've always expressed this, and I think put it in the bluntest of terms, sometimes you got to let your freak flag fly, and I think you can agree with me on this, especially in the year 2026, and how people have really evolved over the years and expand their horizons. It's kind of nice to see people just enjoying and owning what they love and letting them express themselves. And also, everybody's a little bit more open-minded with stuff that was once taboo, and they're really getting into explore different ventures.
Yeah. Talking about letting your freak flag fly, there was a man flying a 2 girls 1 cup was art flag during one of the wrestling matches. So that was hilarious. Yeah. So everyone's definitely very accepting, very, like you said, it's 2026. No one has enough time or energy to put on and act and pretend there's something they're not. And it's just really nice to know that at least once a month you can go somewhere, not have to spend more than $20 to get a few beers. You don't have to pay for parking. You don't have to pay to get in. You don't have to put on a mask. You can just be weird and you can be yourself. Or if you just want to be like a freak in the corner watching it all go down, there's really just a spot for everyone there. So I enjoy it.
Oh, agreed. I've always looked at it from events like this. If you look at it from the popular culture side of things, I remember back in the day, for those that remember MTV True Life, I'm a dominatrix. I use that as an example because you rocked it with the LFC event. But I look at the dominatrix side of things too. If you really explain it from a documentarian side, and that's what they did back in the day with True Life, you get to see the submissive part, the dominant part. So it takes you in even what that art form is really about. So I think that also gives a nice little detail about how the dominatrix and the submissive life really goes. So I think you get to really learn a lot. And I think a lot of people really just need to adapt and grow. We do as people, and we do in many different lifestyles.
Yeah. And usually I feel like a lot of people, the judgment and the hatred, you cannot like something and that's totally fine. I don't like cheddar cheese. I never will. But if you truly hate something, I feel like a lot of the times it tends to come from a not understanding or a jealousy or wishing you could be that free yourself, or just something not healed in yourself. So I feel like it's very fun to watch people, come to their first show and them see something that they never would have imagined being in the room cheering on. And then, 10 shows later, and they're the freakiest one in the crowd, and they're dressing up and they're getting into it, and they're truly becoming who they're meant to be. And it happens with a lot of the girls too. So we don't usually hire dancers who have been doing stuff for a while. We tend, with the go-go specifically, I tend to look for girls who are looking for something bigger, looking for something to empower them and feel, female empowerment, what you said, badass on the inside, hot on the outside, just it's supposed to be more community than it is let's hire a bunch of girls with a bunch of clout and a bunch of credit and let's all just shake our asses all night. It's very we hang out outside of it. We talk beforehand about what our goals for the night are and stuff. And it's, I don't know, it's supposed to build up your confidence and build up just being a fucking freak and coming off your 9 to 5 and taking all your clothes off. And I don't know how graphic I can get on here. Can I get pretty graphic?
Hit it, please.
But the last show we did a kind of sci-fi theme, and so I wanted to be an alien, and I put an LED butt plug in my butt, the light up ones, and I was letting people for tips control the laser light show out of my ass as I danced. But yeah, just a lot of I never would have been comfortable with that 2 years ago, but when you build a room of people who are all just wanting to be weird themselves, you get to have a lot of real fun with it and do stuff you never would have imagined. I hope my dad's not watching, but
first and foremost, I gotta just say, freaking laser light out there, that's kind of creativity and uniqueness. I dig that. I think that's absolutely great. And no, because it adds a lot to the show, number one, but number two, you're exploring things that a lot of people never explored, like you mentioned. But I also think in today's day and age too, like we mentioned, having that escape from things, people can turn to drugs, people can turn, especially with social media in today's political climate, it's more about division instead of, this. So we're in a day and age where a lot of people need that escape, and going to a place like that and the Freak O Rama and everything that y'all y'all do, which again, highly respect. I think that brings a lot of people together because at the end of the day, we're a community, and that community continues to grow and grow, not just because of word of mouth, but I think the way that you really, the presentation, it's all about being the representation of your presentation. That goes a long way within the craft.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it.
I think the most important part that a lot of people don't even realize, and I've always said this about being around people like myself who've done adult work or people that work at different kind of clubs that have the different lifestyle, so to speak, you really have to see it like with a different lens, the lens being our eyeballs. It's one of those things where you look at someone like a Bob Ross, God rest his soul, the way that he would always paint it with the joy of painting and seeing like mountains and skyscrapers or what have you, you could tell he really loves his art. And I think at the end of the day too, just because you don't want to yuck anybody's yum, which is so true, you have to look at it from an art standpoint. Like, yes, you may not like it, you may not know like the adult stuff or what have you, but it's somebody's business and somebody's brand, and you never know who you're going to gravitate towards and resonate to, because at the end of the day, it's all about evoking emotions. And if those emotions, especially with what y'all do, is joy, I think you're golden, man. And that really brings people together. It's a community at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That's been the most fulfilling part, is getting to see the community of it. And that's what obviously doing a show like that, some crazy stuff goes down, some stuff where it makes you think like, God, it would be a lot easier if this wasn't necessarily on my shoulders. But then you see the community built and they like uplift you just as much as you uplift them. And it's a really incredible feeling. There was a night last December of 2025, where a man had spiked like the entire dancer table's drinks, and he put it wasn't roofies, it was ketamine. And so my dancers are like falling off the stage in K-holes, not knowing who I am. And we ended up calling the ambulance and shutting the show down. And I walked around and ripped drink by drink out of every person's hand, and personally was like, all right, go get a new drink, put it on my tab. And then I walked every single girl out to an Uber or to their friend's car. We found all of the girls that were just like walking around smoking blunts, because there was like a group of like 4 dudes who would come in and was like, we're just going to see how many girls we can get. And they were sitting in the parking lot, and I was in an over-the-shoulder G-string, a single pasty because one had fallen off, so a duct tape on the other one, and we just blood wrestled. So I was covered in like nasty, sticky blood, so it made all of the like dirt and hairs from the bar stick to me. So I look like the stuffed animal that your kid loves too much, that you like washed in the dryer and it's just got everything stuck to it.
Yep.
And I'm in 8-inch platforms, and there are like the dude who was inside plus 3 grown men waiting in their car, and they're watching for these drunk girls walking out of the bar. And I go into like the little parking lot, and I'm just standing there. So I'm 6'8" in my platforms, completely naked, covered in dust. And I'm just death glaring them. And they're like, what do you want? And I'm like, what the fuck do you want? Who the fuck are you looking for? And I'm just sitting there screaming at them until they drive away. But it was fucking terrifying, and it was fucking heartbreaking. And it definitely made me like, I was a bartender at the time. I was seeing girls getting their ass grabbed all the time. I was getting my ass grabbed all the time. I was definitely like, this is like a little bit too hard for me. It's a little bit too much on my mental. And the amount of like people that came together and were just so appalled that this even happened, especially a lot of the men, a lot of the people who started offering to do free security for the shows. A lot of like my security staff at the bar I worked at started going to the shows just for fun and like introducing themselves to the girls to make sure that there was like a community of people protecting them. The bar now carries the little drink covers, and now we have like fentanyl test strips and drink testers and Narcan in all the bathrooms. But it was like, everyone saw this and was like, we're not just going to let this happen like a lot of other bars and just say, well, good luck, girls, get home safe. Everyone was like, no, we're going to help, and we're going to make sure that, this never happens again. And that if those dudes ever show their face in the bar, they'll be leaving very bloody, So definitely the community of it.
Well, first and foremost, I gotta say, I'm glad y'all are safe, number one. And number two, there's always somebody that has to ruin it for everybody, but I think you making it safe and spectacular for everybody and putting the boundaries in place, that's what you have to do. It just shows your professionalism and your decorum, because at the end of the day, too, people want an experience. They don't want that kind of experience, but the experience that you give, you have to make everything fulfilling, and I believe you certainly do that, not just with your shows, but with your actions as well. So for that, I commend you and applaud you for your overall professionalism on that particular situation.
Yeah, no, I must have looked pretty scary being like 6'8" and covered in blood. Because I don't know if it looked like fake.
Oh, I mean, it's like one of those, like, you literally came out like a straight out of horror film, like A House of a Thousand Corpses or something. I can only imagine the visual. So yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Like oh my god, if you mix like those horror nuns from Silent Hill mixed with like a GTA stripper, and that's what you got. Yeah.
Man, it's one of those things. It's like you see the blood coming out, and I'm gonna take a throwback for everybody. It's like when Megan Fox says the succubus in Jennifer's body when she got 8675309, the demon spirit in her, like when she's got the blood dripping down. It's kind of like that image for those that remember Jennifer's body, so to speak.
I mean, how do you not remember Jennifer's body? That was iconic.
Some people have crapped over that over the years, and I'm like, are you and I watching the same damn movie? And I swear to God, because a lot of them think it's just because her and Amanda Seyfried have that lesbian kiss that they have. Very hot. The whole is one giant story. It's like you realize abandons. You get to see like there's a lot of twists.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love any sort of like. Do you remember Trick or Treat, where the women were being like lured into the woods and then they turn out to be like the werewolves and eat the men and it like do that sexy dance around the fire? That is my shit. That is my vibe. That's like the vibe of Freak O Rama, kind of, honestly. So I love anything that sort of energy.
I feel you. I think one of the ones that I was watching the other night, and I mean, it's kind of corny, but like, if for those who've ever seen Unfriended, it's the girl gets her revenge from being cyberbullying, and it's like one killer Skype call. Like, it's very interesting just to see like the effects that cyberbullying have. There's a lesson to it, but it's also freaky as hell because it shows one's guilt and everything. So you're evoking that emotions, but you're also being terrified at the same time. So if you can add those layers, and especially like we mentioned with like the blood and everything, it goes right to it. So you affect every emotion from top to bottom, and I think you're golden, man.
I tend to forget about the blood a lot of times too, because we use blood a lot in the show, especially in the earlier days. And I have a tradition of always going to get Roberto's afterwards. Yeah. And like a lot of the times I would forget. I was covered head to toe in blood, and I would just walk into some poor unsuspecting Roberto's worker, and she'd start screaming and like, "Should I call the cops?" And I'd be like, "No, happy Halloween! Like, it's all good."
Oh, well, I will say this, that is definitely a one's vision to the eye, so to speak, covered in blood. But that's another thing I wanted to actually ask you about, because Lilipher, I got to tell you, for those that are not following this amazing human being right here on the Instagram front, beautiful imagery showcasing a lot of the great different Halloween costumes and everything that you've done. And like much like you mentioned with what you just coming back with the devil and stuff with the red, it kind of really just shows that great imagery of the horror classics, the sci-fi, like you mentioned. But I got to say, you definitely know how to rock it with what you put on there. I got to give you much love and respect, because they look fantastic when they come out, man.
Thank you. I wish I could post more. I probably have like, I pay for like the crazy ultimate Dropbox where it's like enough for like a college professor to keep her whole course on there. Like, I have so many photos that Instagram would never want to see. I had an account for a while, probably like years, and it got taken down a few months ago. So this account that you're seeing has only been up for like, I think since July. So I think I want to start some sort of website. I'm begging somebody out there, like if there's anyone out there that's really good at computers, make a new Instagram that lets me show my butthole.
That's first of all, if that's not a message like a good PSA right there, all I want is an Instagram lets me show my butthole. That, first of all, that is the selling point right there. That's a pitch right there, man. Because sometimes you just gotta let it loose. So I feel you got to show the bootylicious vibes. I understand where you're coming from.
Oh my God, there was one day where I don't know how it lasted so long, but a videographer, he'd taken a video of freaks, and it had started with like heading up my legs, but I was wearing one of those dental floss things, so you could see my whole asshole. But he had like the Freak O Rama logo in the O in Freak O Rama, like ringed my butthole. And that's how the video started. And then it was just all the girls twerking, and it stayed up on Instagram for like 24 hours. And it got like 30,000 views. I've never had that sort of reach, but everyone was like, did we all just see what we thought we saw? And may I say, nice asshole. So I just want that again. That felt nice.
Well, I will say this from the external side of things. I will say about you, my dear friend, you definitely have the voluptuosity factor. So it definitely brings in a lot of amazing people with that. So I got to give you once more, not only kudos, love, and respect, but the voluptuosity is there. So you definitely have that. It's definitely wonderful to see.
Thank you. Very long legs. I used to be a dancing bartender at like a Coyote Ugly type bar. And so anytime somebody came in and was like, this is my first time, I really want to get a picture with the bartender, I was like, I got you. And I would stand on the bar and I'd be wearing like a little tiny fucking booty shorts. And I would these were my legs, and I would stand like this and I would lean over. So the photo would be like me standing and then them below me in between my legs. And then I'd be like, put it on your Christmas card and tell people you went to Vegas and all you got was between a dirty bartender's legs. And that was like my calling card of how I would take photos. And so I just did a dancing gig the other night, and this couple was staring at me for a really long time. And then she came up to me and she was like, did you used to work at this bar? And I was like, I did. And she's like, is this your ass? And she showed me a picture of that photo. And then the next photo, I used to grab people's phones and just take ass shots of myself. And I go, here you go, when they'd ask for a selfie of me. And so she showed it to me and she's like, I recognized your butt. It's gotten bigger. And I was like, thank you. That made me happy.
Well, I will say this, as the old country song sang, dare I say the honky tonk, but donkey donk, if you will. Don't drop that dun da da, if you will, Miss Lilipher. But I look at it from a stance like this. Now, you did mention one of the ultimate classics, which actually turns 26 years old this year, which I cannot believe. Like, my mind is blown even thinking about it. But Coyote Ugly, everybody remembers Leanne Rimes, Can't Fight the Moonlight. But which one would you say you were out of the movie? The Piper Parabo, the Tyra Banks? What are we thinking here as how you would equate yourself with the Coyote Ugly vibes?
Oh my God, that's a really good question. So it was really weird because it was when I worked at the bar, there was like the mean girl who would like tell you the wrong info, like the girl who was like, that's not the health inspector, spray him with water. There used to be this girl who would tell you to give the boss like the purposefully wrong order, and if you did that, he would like scream at you, and it was like one of the ways to get in a lot of trouble. I think there was like that ditzy sweet blonde who just wanted to dance the whole time. That was all I wanted to do was shake ass and yell at men, and I used to get in so much trouble because I had a really foul mouth. I was so proud of like getting the most in trouble for my mouth at a Coyote Ugly bar. That's very impressive. But men would walk in with their girlfriends, and I'd be like, what up, baby girl? Let me know if you want to take a photo with someone who's actually over 6 feet tall. My tongue's longer, my hand's bigger, I can fuck better, and I bet I can drink more whiskey than that little bitch boy. And I used to go off anytime anyone just walked into the bar. And it's how I got on night shift and got all the good shifts because they start you off training on day shift. And I would say that to anyone in a vicinity of the bar. And they were like, Lily, you can't say that. Like, that man is 80 years old. He's here for his like retirement party. And I was like, I love a MILF. I love a GILF even more. And so they moved me to night shift because that's where you could say all the horrendous shit. And I still got in trouble.
First of all, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. First of all, that is a great time right there, number one. But number two, I'm going to put an image in your head. You're kind of like Joan Cusack in the School of Rock, where Jack Black and them are listening to Edge of 17 in the bar, and he's letting the principal just let loose, and she's just jamming to Edge of 17 and feeling the vibes. So you're kind of like Joan Cusack letting loose, but to like even more like a more volume like turned up with your cursing and stuff. So think of Joan Cusack with the volume turned up.
Oh, thank you. I'm honored. I loved it. I used to, on like Mother's Day and Father's Day, I would wear this little bedazzled rhinestone tank top that said stepsister. And then the whole time I'd be like, help, I'm stuck in the beer well. Yeah, I was that bar's nightmare.
Oh, I can only picture now because the show has become so infamous over the years and so many seasons. I can imagine like a bar rescue and you would be working at that bar and just yelling that stuff at John Taffer. I would just love to see the look on the face in Spike TV. I love that. But no, that you definitely liven it up, man. That actually is very cool. I'm glad that you shared that because that makes me smile. Makes me would even want to go to the bar as well. So I feel you. You definitely do a good job on that front.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Well, I will say this. Another thing, like we mentioned earlier at the top of the show, that you definitely do well at. You did the ring announcing thing. You had the great vibes with it. We mentioned the great Terry Feisty Fist London as the referee. The overall event, everybody killed it. Like you mentioned, two great names, like the new ones of Channy Crossfire and Tiffany Conspiracy Smoke Show Baxter. Man, everybody had the great vibes from the witch costume from that Tiffany had, and so many people, like the evil and good cheerleaders that we saw with Sarah Wolf and Emily Sparkle. I mentioned the dominatrix side of things, but let's talk about this, man, because you came in 6 foot doing your damn thing with everything. The attire was impressive, but talk about the dominatrix attire because you rocked it.
Not able to capitalize further. Now look at this.
Incredible.
Oh, but Wolf just grabs her, and once again, is she looking to slam her down? Full control.
Nice. Straight under the knee.
Back. Oh my God!
Oh, nice
and then
big shot.
Big punch to the face there.
Is she out? Is she out?
It looks like she's unconscious
Think
right
she's
now.
out.
She's completely unconscious, it would appear. Terry London is taking a look here. I think she's out.
You gotta stop the fight.
You gotta stop the fight, don't you? If she's unconscious, I don't think you can continue. Is she out? Oh, she's out. I mean, we got to end the fight at some point, right?
Yes, I was very nervous about my titty popping out because it had those little gold tassels, so I ended up putting a bra on underneath. But yeah, I feel like I probably a Halloween costume. It's not really a costume. I do dominatrixing here and there, so I wouldn't say I'm like full blown like world-renowned dominatrix, but I throw a lot of kink parties. I host a lot of kink parties, and I'm friends with a lot of like professional doms. So I do have some people here and there who'll be like, "Hey Lily, will you please come kick me in the balls? I miss those long legs of yours." So it's something that I want to get better at. If I ever have like some people dream of going to culinary school or dream of like whatever, I would love to set aside some time and intern with a legit dom and like really train the craft. But yeah, anyone out there wants me to kick them in the balls, hit me up after this. But yeah, no, I love it. I think it's very empowering. The Lilipher character that I do in burlesque came out of like wanting empowerment and wanting to like really discover myself. I was halfway through college, and I was just like kind of losing myself to like other people and like this new adult world. And I was like, I want to my version of meditate, which is take all of my clothes off and scream at people. But I wanted to get more into myself, and that Lilipher character was sexy and positive and dominatrixy, and she was like, lick my boots, you worms, and you'll get turned on and you'll like it, and I'll collect your cum and sell it. And just weird, and I really liked that. And the more I got into that, the more it became less of a character and more of just like a cohesive lifestyle. Lily and Lilipher just kind of live together, and I feel like even if I've never really regretted anything. It's just pushed me to more of the right steps, more of the place I'm supposed to go. At that bar, I learned how to, be a better MC, be a better presenter, be a better host with Lilipher, with the character, with the burlesque show. It's just all wrapping up so nicely. And, I started it to find myself. And I feel like I did that definitely on the path to that.
I think everybody has a great journey and destination, and the journey and destination is always worth it, and it's definitely worth taking. I think where you got, first of all, love the name of Lilipher. Let's just put that out there. I think that is an amazing name, but you've really taken it up even more notches, like we mentioned with the volume turned up, but you're just being you. You're adapting the trash talking side, you're adapting the lifestyle, and there's only one way to go but up. And I mean, for the second part of that, I'll even say this. It's one of those things where it's cool, it's unique, it's different, and you definitely attract with your overall being. So, I mean, if that doesn't resonate, then I don't know what the hell does. So I think with what you're doing, keep on keeping on and keep rocking it.
Thank you so much. I used to work at this old store called Fashion Defense. It's a punk store in Vegas. My boss, I was telling him that I wanted to do burlesque and I needed to come up with a name. And he was like, "You're basically the devil. Why don't you just call yourself Lilipher?" Because it's like Lucifer and Lily combined. So I think he meant it as like an insult, but I fell in love with it and I put it on a flyer that day.
And it's one of those things where, like, you could say it in a joking manner, but I mean, I'll even say it like this. Popular show on Fox so that went to Netflix, Lucifer, was very popular, showcasing the lifestyle of the devil and so many different things that of his time on earth and being back in hell. So it has that type of vibes too, but also at the same time too, I always look at it like this, and I'll make another pop culture reference. Look at Madonna in Human Nature. She wore the black leather, she wore the black lace and everything like that. Like that type of style really increased Madonna in the Bedtime Stories album. So, I mean, stuff like that sticks. So you're taking what you see from all your surroundings, but you're encompassing within your own mind, body, soul, and spirit. So I think that's the best way to look at it. But also at the same day, too, it works. Not only does sex sell, but also a little bit of edge and a little bit of vibes of overall blackness and a little darkness can't hurt anybody. So, I mean, hey, it works. It turns up the temperature, most definitely.
Thank you. I've never known any other way. I've always been like emo as fuck. Like my dad. So I thought Viva Las Vegas was written by the Dead Kennedys.
Okay.
I thought, God, I thought The Wall was written by Korn. I've since educated myself. I listened to Pink Floyd. I've seen Roger Waters in concert. But I grew up with a lot of like punk rock, a lot of nu metal, a lot of Bad Brains. Just all of that. So I did not ever, I don't think there's any photos of me wearing a lot of color. My mom used to dress me in a lot of cheetah print, like 2 pieces as a baby. And then I was like, you're upset that I started taking my clothes off for a living, but you put a toddler in a crop top, so that's on you. But no, it was a lot of like very old Vegas, Viva Las Vegas style, like the festival, a lot of cheetah print, a lot of rockabilly, a lot of ska. So there was never a point where I was like, I'm going to wear a lot of pink dresses. I remember one of the first legit fights me and my mom got in was 8th grade graduation. We went dress shopping. She wanted me to wear a dress, and I wanted to wear a pantsuit and a blazer with no top on underneath, with like open as an 8th grader. And she was like, you absolutely can't. You have to wear this sparkly dress. And I was like, fuck you, fuck your dress. And I ditched and I got drunk at a Cage the Elephant concert with my dad instead. Didn't even go. But yeah, there was never a point where I was like, let's not dress in all black, and not say like dress slutty, but this is like, I'd wear more clothes now than I ever did in like high school.
Well, look at it like this. You mentioned bands like emo and nu metal. Think of yourself like Korn. You're a freak on a leash. So, I mean, it works. I mean, you made a great reference to great bands like Korn, Freak on a Leash, Falling Away from Me, Here to Stay, We'll Be Here All Day. But like Korn is definitely one of the people that really did influence a lot of great people, and their music resonates. So, I mean, hey, if you listen to the lyrics and you listen to their overall art form, you have good taste in music. Emo, nu metal, I like that.
So there's a bunch of like, this is my wall of like posters and art, but there's a ton of like Korn guitar picks from when I met Monkey at one of his shows.
Nice.
Poster. But he gave them to me. I was way taller than him. It was very funny interaction. Yeah, right there. But I love Korn.
I'm right there with you. No, I'm right there with you. I grew up with that, and I've always said this about TRL. Like, if I wasn't for Korn and it wasn't for great music videos like we have with MTV and everything, like, Korn was definitely something new. I mean, don't get me wrong. You got to love pop and all these different groups, but when you're constantly seeing the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and 98 Degrees, don't get me wrong, very talented, but it's nice to see a change up of like Korn, Incubus, and all these groups. So you definitely needed something with added a little flavor to it, a little chaos, if you will. So I got to ask you on the Korn side of things, what are some of your favorite Korn songs? If you had to rank them top 5.
Well, so one of the ones that are really high is Monkey. I asked him his favorite song to perform, and he said Here to Stay.
Yes.
So that'll always be up there. Weirdly, I love the song Evolution. It's so catchy, and like, I feel like that was one of their popular songs. But I love
it's
that.
Controlling my mind. I like your style. Okay, keep going.
Love and Meth. That was a great one. Popular, like out of all of their like super popular radio songs, I love Twisted Transistor. I never like changed the channel when that one came on. Towards the end of like when Korn blew up on TikTok, every time like Freak on a Leash, I was changing the channel. But when Twisted Transistor was coming on, I was fucking with it. And then the 5th one, let's see. I don't know why the fifth one is so hard. Make Me Bad or Trash. I loved Trash. I'll go with that one.
Good stuff. Now, I will say this first and foremost. You popped me at Twisted Transistor. This won't hurt a bit. Hey, you. Hey, you. You know what's so funny about that? Wrestling related, for the wrestling fans that do listen to this fine program, that actually was the theme song. WWE used that as a theme song for one of their pay-per-views in 2005. I actually have to send it to you because they used it. And it's like they did a video package for one of the main events. It was Kurt Angle, John Cena, and Shawn Michaels. It was fantastic. If I can find the video, I'll definitely send it to you. But they rocked it with Tristan Transistor.
No, that would be amazing. I could see that for sure. Oh, I
And
love
it's
Korn.
Yeah. No, I think for me, if I had to choose 5, because you put 5 great ones. All right, so I'll go Freak on a Leash, Falling Away From Me, Twisted Transistor. I'll go with Here to Stay. And if I had to pick a 5th one, I would probably go with either a tie between Evolution or Adidas, All Day I Dream About Sex. Those two are definitely ranking up there.
So
Or Gotham.
I love your picks. Amazing picks. Adidas, back in like 4th grade, I had this best friend named Kelsey, and her mom was an alcohol rep. So she would drive us around from all these different bars, and she would get us shots inside the bars, bring us out to them. Jesus, I had a little stroke. Bring them out to us. But she had like a CD in her car of the like Green Corn Volume 1 Best Hits album, and Adidas was on that. And I said, when it was playing, oh my God, Kelsey, this is your song. And her mom whipped around and was like, why the fuck is this your song? And I didn't even think about it, but it's because her daughter was, she was a bad bitch, and I supported her and I loved her, and I didn't even mean to narc. I was just, drunk 4th grader, or not 4th grader, 8th grader. But yeah, I got her in a lot of trouble. I think as she was driving the car, whipped around, hit her in the head, was like, why the fuck is that your song? Right after the All Day I Dream About Sex.
I get it. Well, it's so
funny. She was
funny.
running a porno-ass Tumblr account with like pegging dudes all day long. She wasn't the dude, she wasn't the chick, but I wasn't wrong.
No, actually, in that scenario, looking at you were not wrong at all. I mean, hey, that would definitely represent the song, and definitely when she was running at the time. So, I mean, it works. It's symbolic in its own way. It's definitely symbolic. I get it.
She's a bad bitch too. She was like one of the first girls to hop on OnlyFans, like made bank, then bought a church out in Oregon, made it a house. Now she's living peacefully with her husband, still dreaming about sex. Last time I saw her, I gave her a lap dance and spit in her mouth. So,
hey now,
hell
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Well, first off, shout out to her for just accumulating not only the money and the business and the house and the husband, but still, like, that's her just being her authentic self. That I can definitely respect as well. So shout out to that girl, because that girl is fly, no lie. I definitely echo those sentiments. It reminds me of back in the day too. Like, we mentioned thinking of like stuff of our school, what we grew up on, right? Like, I remember in study hall, like I had a dude. I don't know if you remember this album. I'm sure a lot of you may. Punko's Pop was like very big at the time. I remember my dude had that album, and it's like Escape the Fate singing Smooth by Rob Thomas and Santana. And there was like A Day to Remember on there singing Since You've Been Gone by Kelly Clarkson and all these other songs. Like, I remember that was also big around the time. Do you remember Punko's Pop?
Yeah, absolutely. I do. No, I love that.
Like those, and it's so weird because it's like, I love Rob Thomas and Carla and Santana, like I mentioned, but I'm just like, Escape the Fate. They hit the very nice on the smooth track. Like there were some bops on that one, man.
Are you an In This Moment fan?
Yes, I have seen some In This Moment. Yes, hit me.
I think they are the best band for covers. They have covered Flying Like an Eagle. They've covered Phil Collins' In the Air Tonight. They covered Call Me. But just some of the most incredible songs that you wouldn't think of as In This Moment new metal style, but like their In the Air Tonight is just as good as Phil Collins. I love them. Their covers of classic rock is fucking incredible.
Now I'm going to have to add some more of them to my playlist now and definitely check this out. So, but yeah, I've seen a lot of their stuff floating around on social. Very good. Like, it's for me, like, I'm a very eclectic mix. Like, I'll listen to anything. Like, it's so funny. Like, what came up on my socials was like Breaking Benjamin had a new hit, and like growing up in Breaking Benjamin, I mean, Polyamorous Friend got me into massive trouble again. Firefly, The Diary of Jane, Sooner or Later, will be here all day. Like, but you get to see a lot of those bands still doing their thing, and they still sell out.
Yeah. For the nostalgia factor of it all, plus like nowadays, especially with, I don't know how everyone feels about AI. I personally hate it. But with like AI music and like it getting harder and harder to find real accessible musicians, bands like that are just going to continue to like tour and rake in the money because they don't have like, there are some amazing like young bands right now, but they're not getting the exposure. People aren't seeing them.
First of all, same wavelength right here, and I'll tell you why, Miss Lilipher. I too am not the biggest fan of AI. I don't get it. I'm not like I've heard some stuff like there was this YouTube channel called Never Heard FM. It's a lot of AI stuff. Like they did one for like 80s and 90s songs and put like a G-funk mix, or they put like an R&B mix or a funk mix. Like there was one person that did Eminem's Without Me, and it's like a very soulful 50s R&B. But I'm like, you can't beat the original, number one. Number two, it's a nice mix. But at number three, leave it alone. Like when you think of Eminem Without Me, you think of like the time period of Angry Eminem, 2002, the Eminem Show. You know where you are. You're in the moment. But I get it. But also at the same time, too, not a fan, especially with the stuff that's going on with Grok now. My God.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm big into like music and art being like a universal language universal language, and it's because it's human. You can connect to it, you can feel the emotion, the heart that was poured into it. I think the second that it's computerized and put through AI, that is all lost. That the whole point of listening and engaging in art to me is to understand the person who made it, not just, ooh, good beat, I fuck with this, like, I don't know. So, but yeah, with the Grok, I don't go on Twitter much. I created a Twitter when I started doing OnlyFans, and I put like 4 or 5 posts on there. And I was just like, I don't know, too much opinions, too much reading. If I'm going to read, it's going to be some like fantasy smut on Tumblr. I don't want to read all this fucking nonsense opinions.
I am right there with you. And I got to say, I love your stance as well. Very blunt and very elegant. I like your style on that front, man. Because I too am like that, man. You got to keep it simple. And you talk about the raw emotion of songs. That would be like I just mentioned Breaking Benjamin previously. Dear Agony is a classic song. You feel the pain that Benjamin had throughout that song, and you really tell the story of what that whole entire album was about, especially with songs like Give Me a Sign and Hopeless and all the songs that really were encompassed. You can't AI that, man. That is a man's real raw emotion and everything that he puts into his music. You can't AI that. Just let him put the emotion to the music and take the ride with it. That's what it's all about, just taking that ride.
No, absolutely. I'm not for it. But also, to be fair, like anyone who's ever been to Freaks has heard me say it 100 times. We have a production manager whose entire, like, in a month and a half, she had to teach me how to use Discord. I am so far connected from, like, this is my first TV. I got it a year ago. And I got it to watch anime. I don't really use a lot of, like, when you were like, oh, you need a desktop. Don't have one. Don't have a laptop. I just don't use a lot. I have an air fryer. That shit slaps. But I'm the type of person who, like, early 90s sci-fi, that shit'll probably come to life and I'll probably get killed by my air fryer in the middle of the night when the robots uprise. It's like a legit fear of mine. I don't fear a lot of things.
You're kind of like that episode of SpongeBob where he has the bad dream of the robots are taking over the world and he's running from the robots. It's like fiction never coming to life, yes.
The Scooby-Doo sci-fi house where they almost lasered that kid in half, never recovered from that. 12-year-old me was like, you know what? I'm against it. Throw it all away. I don't need to be watching Scooby-Doo.
Oh, I remember that. That popped to me. Yes. That's a great effing show.
Yeah, no, I was done. I was like a VHS kid. Like my parents' names are Karen and John. Like no food coloring. We watched a lot of PBS, watched a lot of stuff at like friends' houses and stuff, but yeah, no, never gave a crap about any sort of technology. I like the air fryer. I'll keep the air fryer. It's worth the risk.
I got to tell you something. You are very wise with that because technology is only going to just rot even more of the minds of the youth, especially nowadays. So I can't blame you on that front with just getting your TV and air fryer. And just a little sidebar, I got to say you chuckled when I was asking you about the desktop. I will laugh at that because before we did this interview, I said, you can either use desktop or computer. She goes, can I use my phone? I said, yes. So I mean, That is the most accommodating thing ever, but I also did laugh at that. But I also do respect that too as well. It shows your discipline and it just shows your more intuitiveness. So again, kudos. You definitely are showing a lot with that. No, absolutely. I give you much love and respect for that because a lot of people need to stay off of social media for their mental health.
Yeah, you're giving me too much credit. I just don't know how to use the shit. I've tried and I get so angry. I remember a time in like a school library being really ridiculously pissed off that the computer wasn't working and the kid next to me like leaning over and like hitting the power button on the like thing on the tower on the floor.
Mhm.
So that's how technologically illiterate I can be sometimes. It ain't for me. But I know most of the bones in the human body and I'm not scared of most things. Like I said, I'll go toe to toe with 5 grown men in the parking lot, but fucking put a laptop near me and I'm quaking in my boots.
Well, I will say, number one, there's never not enough credit because you definitely deserve said credit. But number two, it's best that way just because, I mean, even from our early internet stuff, it's one of those things where you like learn about chat rooms and you learn about emails and everything, but everything's become so advanced, especially like you mentioned earlier with AI. It's like you can't really like connect with it. But also, number two, something that you like when you were like a kid, because social media, like getting into the MySpace, the Facebook, and the Twitters and stuff. Now, as a grown adult, it's like if I wasn't doing this, then I wouldn't use it. I think it's better for everybody. Like I remember the days of just going out and shooting hoops, riding a bike, or doing the damn thing. Like we need more of that. We need people to be more in touch and in tone with the outside world than just this all the time. You know what I'm saying? Eye to eye contact, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the number one complaint I get from anyone in my life is, Lily, you are virtually impossible to get a hold of. Like, you have to call me 7 times, or my people who know me know to show up at my job or at my house. Like, they'll just knock on the door because, like, I'm sure as you saw, I'm not on the internet much. I go on Instagram to throw up a post really quick, and then I get off that shit quick. I think I've gone through 2 social media people now where I'm like, can you just do all of the socials for freaks? Like, I don't want to be on here. It's scary. But I like the recipes. I have to give credit to Instagram. It basically taught me how to cook. I made like a garlic infused olive oil Parmesan pasta last night. All thanks to Instagram.
See, now you're making me hungry. That does sound really, really good. Was it that good?
It was really good. I will cook for you. If you ever come to Vegas, I will cook for you. Absolutely.
I will say number one, it's a date, and number two, I definitely got to see this culinary skill of yours, absolutely, and I thank you kindly for that. Well, I will say this, Miss Lilipher, you not only have been an absolute delight, not only do you have the skills that kills, replace the S, put in the Z on so many levels within your craft and you as an overall being. I'd love to have you back on the LFC pod for a future one. I'd love to see you back in the LFC doing your ring announcing thing. You've been an absolute blast to talk to.
Yes, that was so much fun. I believe I will be back for not the next show, but the one after that. And believe there's a show. Am I allowed to say? Is that like restricted info? I believe there's a show going on July 4th, and I will be announcing that for sure. So you will see me soon.
Early spoiler alert, number one, which you can say, so no problem. But number two, yes, you definitely got to check out Lilipher for what she's doing with Freak O Rama, doing the go-go stuff, fires coming out the mouth, everything, man. I got to tell you, it's a spectacle, and it's something, if I'm ever in Vegas, I will definitely hit up that spot. I'd love to see it, and I'd love to see the amazing show. You definitely do amazing work.
Thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure. I enjoyed this so much. I look forward to us talking again, and to anyone in Vegas who wants to come see my butthole in person. Just kidding. That's probably really bad to say online. Come to Freak O Rama. It's January 28th.
Now, for, like you mentioned, the amazing events that you have coming January 28th, where can we follow you on these socials, Miss Lilipher? The floor is yours.
Socials, it's Freak. Oh, this is a corn reference. Freak N Stein. So it's Frankenstein, but I was a corn fan when I made it. I still am. But on OnlyFans, I am just Lilipher. And then on Twitter, I am Lilipher666. So yeah, and then Freak O Rama is Lilipher's Inferno on Instagram. So if you look up Lilipher, look up Freak O Rama, you'll probably find me.
Links will be in the description for this Jill of all trades. See what I did there? This Jill of all trades and everything that she's done thus far within her journey. So a couple final questions before we wrap this up, and I will put the links in the description so everybody can follow Miss Lilipher right here. Number one, you did mention corn within there. I got to ask you one other corn one, because I remember as a kid in the 80s and the 90s, one of the big songs was Cameo's Word Up, everybody sang. Were you a fan of the cover Word Up by Korn?
Oh my God. Word Up and Y'all Want a Single, because those were the two intros on that Volume 1 song. Yeah, those were my two favorite Korn songs as a kid forever. In fact, when I heard the original Word Up, I was dancing at that Coyote Ugly bar, and I stopped in my tracks and I was like, what the fuck kind of cover is this? And they were like, this is the original. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, the original? So yeah, I just thought Korn wrote everything.
Well, it's one of those things too, because I remember that time period as well. Like, that was out, and Marilyn Manson's cover of Tainted Love by Soft Cell was out, which is not a bad cover in its own right. You got to give some love and respect to Manson on that. And it reminds me of, like, all right, and I'll date everybody back 20 years, like when Avenged Sevenfold first came out with Backcountry, and that was sweeping the nation everywhere. Or they had Velvet Revolver with Slither, because, Guitar Hero was so big at the time. Like, those songs, like, even 20 plus years later, as we're talking about it now, definitely really stood out at the time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There was a Sweet Dreams Are Made of Cheese by Marilyn Manson. I thought he wrote that. There were so many songs that I was like, this is a awful cover. And then the person was like, this is the original. And I was like, well, it shouldn't be. But no offense to those artists, just not my taste.
I feel you. Okay. Now, another thing I do have to ask as well is, from the music and everything that really represents your being and your awesomeness, two things I have to ask. Number one, what advice would you give to anybody who wants to get into the overall craft of what you do, with many things from burlesque, from many different ventures that you do with Freak O Rama? And number two, as a two-parter to that question, what are some of the things that you're grateful for thus far within your journey into this amazing world, and just in general in this thing that we call life?
If you want to start something like Freak O Rama or start a similar path, I would say look for something that means everything to you and work for it. Don't just be like, I want to take my clothes off, or I want to, work towards being you and like building who you want to be, instead of trying to like be like someone else. And then I think the most important thing is look for friends rather than looking for like people to go to your show or people to like build you up. Like, look for people that you can build up as well, and it'll just kind of like work like weirdly, like an like ecosystem in a forest. Like, it'll all just come together the more you like help people. And then what am I most grateful for in all of it is the people I've met. If I didn't do this, if I didn't randomly email Double Down and was like, hey, can I put a show on here the last Wednesday of every month? I never would have met everyone in my life currently. It's been 3 years now. All of the amazing friends, all of the amazing things I've done. I went from selling Carcass band t-shirts at a punk store 4 years ago to being on stage with Carcass, handing them a birthday cake and shaking my ass. Like, the amount of people I've met and things I've done and seen and got to experience and got to feel is something I never would have even imagined I could dream for, let alone do. So yeah, definitely just all of the things.
Well, I will say this with all of the things. Not only are you coming undone, but you are definitely the bomb with what you're doing there, Miss Lilipher. And if y'all want to check her out, it's on the LFCfights.com VIP section. It is LFC 45 Booty Camp 6, this one, and her dominatrix self rocking it with all the amazing ladies of Lingerie Fighting Championships. Go out and see the event. And if you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, it's Lingerie Fighting Championships and S&M Network shows for this guy right here. And all the links will be in the description for that girl who is known as Lilipher. So with that being said, as I always say to end this show, it's not just the name of this fine podcast, but it is my mindset. Beauty, strength, and dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are. And Miss Lilipher, I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Michael. Have an amazing night, and I wish you the best. Bye.
You as well.